So, you know, when we go live in Obsessed, I usually start the interview, and we're live now. This is how we start it. And I go, oh, shit, we're live. All right. So basically, hello, everybody in Obsessed land again for the 100th, what feels like the 100th time today. We have the amazing Shae Kennewell, who is very, very kindly sharing her time with us today. She's a very busy woman, doing incredible things, not just for her own business, but for other people, which I think is awesome. And technically, we don't usually do business promotion, but the thing is, I think in this space in particular, and why I find it so valuable, and this is what Obsessed is all about, is providing value and allowing people to share their gifts with other people. And I can tell you this woman has some incredible gifts that actually extend beyond her own self, and she puts it out there to help other people. Technical issues in the back. No, you're awesome. Look, I mean, the thing is, I felt this firsthand with you, Shae. Like, literally, I remember, I don't know, what was it, like a month or so ago? And I was just like, crack the shit. And I put a post on Like-Minded Bitches going, don't know what the hell's going on with Facebook, but I couldn't get my page to go live, could I? I don't even know. Still don't know what the problem is, but literally within minutes, you responded. And then again, a few other minutes, you were like, I've got an answer back from Facebook. I'm like, this woman's a fucking wizard. She's like, who are you, Hermione Granger? Literally.
Oh, that's good.
And how cool is it? Like, you literally, we were able to solve something. And this is why I think I talk a lot about the power of reaching out, because you can sit inside your own space and be like, I was at it for a year, Shae, a year trying to solve a problem. And I think that came down to me not recognizing that I can't do everything. And I'm thinking, you know, inside that space, I should be able to solve these bloody problems. And instead of looking for an expert or asking for help, I sat and suffered in silence. And it took me one post, and you responded to one post to get us to a point of a problem solved. And this is your area of expertise. Look, for everybody out there that's listening, she's got a bit of a journey because you grew an online business, didn't you?
Yeah, that's how this all started. I started my own business. Yeah. So that was kind of fun because, well, I was pregnant with Lulu, and I used to work in an office for guys that own like the power lines and stuff. And while I was on maternity leave, everyone was kind of talking about us losing our jobs to computers. So the guys,
everybody hating on computers.
Yeah. So the guys are going to start getting computers in their trucks. So I was kind of like, okay, the shit's going to hit the fan at some point or another. And then I don't even remember my thought process or why I did it or what I did. But I just kind of literally dove head first into it. And I was like, okay. So I went and designed my website and went and met all designers all around Australia and whatever, and had everything set up. So when I went back to work, 2 weeks from going back to work, I ended up losing my job. And and then so I kind of got thrown in the deep, well, not really thrown in the deep end because I was excited about it. Everyone was really upset they'd lost their jobs, and I was like, let's bring it, let's do it. And it was kind of good as well to have because I was testing everything and learning everything with my own money. Like, you know, you do things really quick, and I was pivoting and, you know, learned how to build websites and and I'm a bit like you, like we have to learn everything and do things ourselves. Like, me not knowing how to do something drives me insane. I hate it. So it was lots of fun. And then people started asking me for help with their stores and what they were doing, and I just started helping people out. And then after a while I was like, I can't keep doing this and running my business. So I started charging for it, and then my client list just grew, and I sold the other business, and now I'm just doing this full time.
That's awesome. And literally because that's you had to make a choice. You had to choose between just it being all about you and using your skills to grow your business, and you were at a crossroads to go, am I going to continue to do this myself? And you could have continued to grow it and all the rest of it. But realistically, your heart center was helping other people. Yeah.
And I think it was an awesome stepping stone for me, to start to start there. It wasn't something that I wanted to do continuously. Like selling fashion is not, you're not changing the world doing that or anything.
No.
Well, that's what I felt. Hang on, I'm just going to put my phone on do not disturb because I've got all these notifications coming through. Yeah, but it was just a really good stepping stone. Most people were like, "Oh, you're upset that you're selling it." I was like, "Hell no!" Like the value of what I've learned from this entire experience alone is, worth any. Like you can't even put a figure on that.
Yeah. How did you grow it? Because, I mean, this is the thing, right? I've been interviewed a squillion times of businesses that I've grown and all the rest of it. And the one question they all ask is like, what was your secret? What was the key?
Well, to be honest,
not just one.
Yeah, well, considering I started out from nothing and I started out in a really competitive space as well, because there's a lot of people selling, and I didn't sell my own designs or anything. I on-sold Australian designers. Oh, wow. So there's a lot of competition in that space. So that's why I started learning Facebook ads, because I figured if I can buy something and I can guarantee a return, then you got to win. Like I was like, I can't not win there.
That's smart.
Yeah.
And then that's a lesson in itself, right? So why try and make your own things when there's legitimate brands out there already doing something in that field, and you can leverage off their brands and just create a portfolio. And that's a good way to support somebody else's business as well.
Yeah. And then they've got all the collateral, they've got the imagery, the photography and all that kind of stuff. And I met some awesome like influencers and stuff like Brogan Kate. She was an influencer that I probably wouldn't have been able to grow my business without her. She was amazing. And she ran my social media for me, because that's like, I'm a numbers person. I like maths. I like data. That's probably the big thing I didn't enjoy, was having to take photos with clothes on and stuff. I used to dread it and hate it. And posting on social media and things like that, that's like, I didn't really like doing that. I liked looking at the figures and what was happening and, what I could do to move the needle and things like that. That's what kind of excited me. And now I get to do that full time. So it's like awesome.
It's awesome, because literally, and how awesome is this platform like social media, because it's instant, not like the old days where you place an ad in a newspaper and you're guessing, like you have to count the leads that come through the door and the amount of phone, all of that. You can literally see real live data.
Yeah.
That's why it's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, I love it so much.
No shit, because you're really good at it. You love it, and I think your clients love you as well, because I've been watching. I watch your posts, and it's just like fucking mind blowing. It blows my mind.
I literally work with the coolest people I could ever imagine. Like, and I know at the start of this whole journey, I'd take on jobs that I'd try my best to help with, or weren't necessarily, I didn't think I was the right fit for. And I quickly learnt like when to say no and to point someone in another direction. Like I can't help everybody. Yeah. And I always do my best to help them. But now, and because after being in this industry for a while now, I've broadened my network and there's certain people I trust to actually forward people onto and things like that. But like, especially during this time with the whole virus thing, like I've met so many like people that are, starting up their businesses, have incredible brands, but just don't have the skill set to really leverage it and take it to the next level. So it's been really cool being able to help lots of people like do that, because this is a perfect time now. There's so many eyes on screens.
Well, this is it. And this is something that, no matter what happens in every freaking great GFC or any great kind of like pullback that we have globally, financially, whatever, most people cut their marketing and their advertising spend. And I just don't get it. This is the time to pour more ads.
I've had one client that paused their ads, and they were the only one whose sales dropped. Everyone else literally had record days, record months. And then they were beating their record days again. Like, it's just been crazy.
It's so good. And this is like, and this is an answer to everyone's like, oh, business is really hard. Like if you're making excuses right now, and especially if you're online, if you are online and you are in sales and you're selling product, do you work with services or is it just product?
Mostly product.
Right. And there is a distinct difference as well.
Yeah, absolutely there is. Yeah.
So if you're working like in that space, there should be no excuse. It's just making sure that you've got the right methodology and the right messaging, because it's not just one thing. And I think we had a conversation about this. Sometimes people have got, you know, all the stuff and the things, but their messaging is completely off. So no matter what ad that you put out there, if it's not going to work organically, it's not going to work throwing dollars at it.
Well, even it depends on where you're marketing too. Like Australia and the UK, I find a similar kind of markets. We're a bit more skeptical and don't like the sales type stuff. In the US, you can hit it a bit harder with that kind of stuff. So, and Australians seem to like conversational marketing and things that have like a fun spin, like versus the, you know, the urgency and the scarcity and all that type of stuff. Like that doesn't seem to do very well here.
Yeah.
And if you kind of like level with people, like actually, have a conversation with them and that type of stuff, like it works so much better.
Can you say that twice? Can you maybe say like that again, like really clearly for everyone to hear this?
Like I know, and there's so many like templates and this and that to follow, but I'm like, I find that if you write copy and you just talk to someone, like obviously there's a formula that you follow, but if you talk to people, like they resonate with you, like you've got to get on the same level as people versus just constantly selling and selling and selling. I'm so over it. And that actually, in Obsessed, that's exactly why we've started it. Honestly, the reason we started Obsessed and why I started this, not Obsessed so much, but why we started the group was because we were so sick of being hit with marketing and advertising and bullshit. Like it was crazy and it was driving me nuts. I wanted a place because I love Facebook. I do. Yeah. I love it. I love scrolling. I love interacting. I love helping. I like having my opinion. I like poking my nose in. I like stalking. I like it all. Give it to me. But I don't want, while I'm having a fun time on Facebook, to be bladdered with, hang on. I don't want to be bladdered with the wrong marketing. I'm happy to be marketed to, and I'm happy to engage in a conversation. But the thing is, people are selling to people without actually finding out if it's a fit. And that goes both ways. Yeah. You know, like and that starts from having a freaking conversation. That's why I'm obsessed with just like, we don't really want to talk about business. Let's have a combo. Let's see if we can actually, see if I like you first, because I don't know about you. I don't work with anybody I don't like anymore. Yeah.
I don't know how much money you've got and what you're going to give me. What have we got here? Andrea Mogridge says, hello, how do I find you?
I don't know. I know. And do you know what? I'm yet to build a website for myself, which is kind of terrible. But most people actually like, most of my business is from referrals, and people always say, do you have a website? I'm like, no. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's a good problem to have, but I need to get around to it. But you can message me on my private page, or Miss Empire Co is my Facebook and my Instagram handle. Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure it's all, I'll put it in the comments and stuff anyway. And I know that people will rewatch this a little bit later on, because I know that this time on a Wednesday is usually not like super high traffic time. A little bit later on, people will tune in. So somebody else is saying, yes, it's all about real connection and conversation. And this shit's not not rocket science, Shae.
Yeah. And that's why you build a brand as well. Like I find, like I don't work with anyone that hasn't established their brand, because it tells me that you give a shit. About people. If you know your messaging, know who you want to connect with, who you want to, obviously you want to sell to them. That's the whole point of running a business, is numbers. But if you have that stuff down pat, it makes it so much easier to scale. And if you do a really good job, and I find if people do really content is a big thing. If you have really good videos and graphics and things like that, it makes a huge difference to the consumer receiving it.
Oh, I love you so much. It
kind of just seems so cliche, but
I know, but it's true. Do you know what's really funny is people think they get it, but they just don't. And the problem, call me crazy, and then with the rise in Fiverr and stuff like that, people are just doing it and just throwing it and just getting it done, instead of actually putting care and consideration into. And this is what you said before. You know that when someone's got a brand, they give a shit, and they're not just doing it for a quick buck, the hit and run, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I had one guy recently message me, and it's incessant. Over the course of maybe a month and a half, he's tried to sell me. What are you trying to sell me, Nat? Bloody wine subscription, face cream. He's like, well, I'll show you this and I'll show you that. Can you please fucking stop? It drives me crazy. So putting that care and thought into a legitimate brand, and if you really truly believe in what you're doing, you know, and everybody says the same thing. Hey, Beck Smith's online, and she's saying a whole bunch. She's going through a whole rebrand at the moment. Like, it just, if you go through that process, it is infinitely valuable. And then when you need people like Shae, or you need web designers or whatever, it's so much easier to convey your message.
Yeah.
And get the job done. And the selling part should just do itself.
Yeah. And like, it's something that I feel everyone should have is like brand guidelines down pat. And I mean, you know, as like color schemes, graphics, that type of stuff, but also like your brand voice. Who are we? Are we fun? Are we serious? You know, that type of stuff. Once you know that, then as soon as you go to create content or create ads, you know exactly, you know, the person that you're speaking to. It makes it like, if just for a brand, like a business owner, it makes life so much easier for them when they have that stuff sorted out.
Correct.
Everything you create, like you can then go and template all your social posts and all that type of stuff. Go and create a heap of templates. Like, all right, this is what we use. Now we can swap things out, change our messaging. Everything is streamlined.
Yeah.
Versus doing things on the fly. You're just posting one thing, posting another thing, and there's no, like, nothing's congruent.
Yeah, shooting fish in a barrel, just going, does this work? It's like, well, hang on, who do we know? Do we know who we're selling to? And work it back from there. Music's what it is. Absolute music. So this is everything that we teach our clients. You know, with the branding side of it, it's so goddamn important. Like, it's really important. People and coaches, previous business coaches, don't get me started on coaches, but previous business coaches would say things like, the logo's not important or the branding's not important. I'm like, it's everything. And moving forward into the future with voice-activated control systems like Google and Siri and everything else, it's all going to be about brand. Everything's going to be about brand, because you're going to be able to say, hey, I'm not going to say it because I've got Google sat here and it'll say something to me. But, hey, Ujimaflop, send me a Louis Vuitton handbag. Send me a Camille Louis Vuitton handbag. That's what it'll be. You won't have necessarily, and because that's how quick people want stuff, or
absolutely,
want things, as opposed to send me a brown handbag with monogramming. You know,
it's
just not going to have that choice, because people want the service and they like buying. They just don't like being sold to.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why you've got to show them what kind of problem you're solving, how they're going to feel when they have your product or your service versus buy my shit.
How do you make people feel? Talk about that a lot, and it's very important.
I had a meeting yesterday with a client, and we actually went over and kind of audited his website, and his market was mostly women, and we had that chat, and I'm like, women connect emotionally with things. Like, most buyers will connect emotionally before they make a decision. I'm like, we need to understand how these people are feeling. So I said to him, look, there's going to be a heap of objections around your product and whatever. Let's go list these objections, go and do a video on each objection, and I'll put it out in a sequence in ads, and we'll see what these objections are that are biting, you know, what's converting on here. And then we can then go and tailor all his copy on his landing page to some of these objections, so it gives us a clearer picture around what people actually want versus us just assuming.
Isn't it funny? And how often do you have it with clients? They're adamant. They're like, no, that's not what my clients want, and they don't.
Yeah.
You know.
And then, like, I had another client who used to sell natural products, and they assumed that their market were going to be, you know, these fit guys that are like, you know, 20 to 30. And it wasn't. It was all like over 40 that wanted all this, like, this type of stuff. So I posted a video the other day, and sorry to cut you off. There is a very, very big difference between the demographic that you want and the demographic that you have. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's like, when I posted a video the other day, I said about that. Like, there's all these different, you know, tactics that everyone was like, oh, go and do this and you're going to get this out of it. Things change so quickly. You've got to constantly be testing things. And just because, like Larry down the road said this works, doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Correct. You know? And people that go and put constraints, like if they go and create ads and they put all these constraints around everything and they haven't actually given anyone a chance, like broaden your targeting first and then trim your fat. Like there's a lot of assumptions that go on, and I don't assume anything. Like I do, but I won't ever exclude anything on my assumptions. Like you've got to actually go out to market and see how people respond. Who are these people? What are they doing? What platforms are they on? And that type of stuff. And then you get a solid answer.
Yeah. Do you know, like everything you say to me, it just makes perfect sense. We're very similar. I think we know this anyway.
Yeah.
We've had conversations, but it is exactly it, and it's, to me, it seems very simple. But I understand how people obviously get very overwhelmed by this entire thing. They're like, well, how do you know which one's going to work? I'm like, well, you don't. Sometimes you just got to put it like you're saying. It's like A/B testing and making sure. And it requires consistency and persistence, showing up every single day, looking at the data and get excited by it, because they're the numbers that are going to take you forward, or it's the numbers that are going to eat away into your back end and make it so that you can't move forward because you've wasted all your money by not watching, not having your finger on the fucking pulse, and then blaming God knows what else because you didn't show up to that particular thing every day. So there's go on.
Sorry, go
for it.
I went through an ad account the other day to help a lady out, and her retargeting had age constraints on it. And I was like, but you're retargeting. You want to retarget everyone that's done this action. Why are we saying that we only want to retarget people between these age groups? And she was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, get rid of that.
How random.
And like, even if you're a business that's, you know, not doing high revenues or whatever, even to implement retargeting, it's like super low risk. Your return is high. And once you start actually getting those extra sales through and whatever, then you've got a little chunk of money there to start pushing through, like, to top funnel. And
so good.
And stuff like that. Like,
yeah, you're full of man. Like, you're so full of goodness and such good quality information. No, you are. And I think it's I don't know if it's your energy or what the shit it is, but you're just so authentic. And that word does my head in most of the time, but I can use it, and I can actually use it with really great, solid intention. But I know that what you're speaking straight from your heart. This is not a sales pitch. This is something that you do every day. This is something that I know you do for other people. Yeah. I watch you, and I also know some of the people that you do this for, and you get actual, real, tangible results. And I'll scream that shit from the rooftop. Because for me, that's not like, this is not an advertising freaking push. This is quite literally going, this is how you do it, people. And some people can attack it themselves. They can.
Yeah,
some people can have a go. If you're that, you know, if that's what you're into and you can resonate with Shae and go, oh, well, I'm like that, then give it a go. Do what she's telling you to do. Have a look at it. If you're not, then reach out and get some freaking help. Tasman says, I'm guilty of this in the past, and now I've rebranded and launched my website. So she's got branding everywhere now.
Yeah.
I need to have a look and see.
Yeah, I'll jump on and check it out.
Uh-oh.
People go, it's a good thing.
I don't know. I love it. No, it's good. I absolutely love it. Beck Smith says she loves this. She's we already know that she's going through a whole rebrand. Apparently they love our energy.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, no, it's so good. I actually love it.
Actually like, I've got my car off sitting here and I'm boiling my ass off because if I put the aircon on, it'll be like, shh.
Looks like you've been to the gym. Don't worry about it. We're good. Except if we know you haven't because it's closed.
I've just been down the beach sitting here working.
Sounds awful. Sounds like an awful life.
Yeah.
All right. So what? Man. So literally, you don't have a freaking website. I freaking love it. But people can still find you anyway. I do. I love it. I think it's great. I don't even think you need one. Why would you bother?
Yeah. Oh, most of the people that connect with me are on Facebook anyway, and we just shoot me a message and start a conversation. So I got that. If you want to have a chat.
Have a chat. But this is I'm going back, and this is important, and it's making sure, because she's not like, you're not going to have all the bloody answers, and sometimes it's not a good fit, and sometimes you can't help people, and you're the person that would actually say, hey, like what you've got, but I can't help you because that's not my jam or that's not my whatever.
Yeah
No, I get it.
Yeah,
man, where were you like 5 years ago when I was needing you? I still need you.
Right here. The timing wasn't right. Everything happens for a reason.
It does. Everything does happen for a reason. And I'm so glad. I'm really, honestly, I know it sounds terrible. I'm really glad that you got rid of your business, to be able to provide this for other people because it's so important now. People need this more than ever. And it's confusing. How hard is Facebook to deal with in general?
Yeah, and to be honest, you know, when you know something off the back of your hand, you don't realize, like, and then when I speak to people, I'm like, oh, something that's really simple people have trouble with. And I'm like, and I keep thinking, I'm like, oh, I should just shoot some videos for people to give them a quick understanding of how to do things. Because if I do that, they'll be able to do it themselves. And I'm someone too, like you, we want to know the ins and outs of everything of how to do something. Because I'm like, if I'm an expert, I have to be able to troubleshoot something at all times. And if people actually set their Facebook stuff up correctly, they do it themselves. When the shit hits the fan, they're actually going to have some sort of knowledge on how to go back and fix it versus always relying on other people. Like, I'm someone that hates having to rely on other people. Like, I always want to be able to do things myself. Yeah,
but you know what? On that, and this, I'm a huge...
I know that's a bad thing, but...
No, it isn't. No, because it is to a point, right? You can go through business and you can go through life and go, oh, you know, I'm going to do all my things. As an entrepreneur, when you start a business, you know this. You're the receptionist, you're the accountant, bookkeeper, you're the salesperson, you're everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's important because if you're not those things, and if you implement something new, you should know it to a certain point, because how can you project manage someone else to do that when you outsource it? Because it's not
and I've had like even clients that have come from other places and worked with me, and when they tell me what's going on, I'm like, oh man, these people are just getting the wool pulled over their eyes. But they're doing that because they actually have no idea how any of this stuff functions. So actually sitting there and saying, okay, when they say this, this is what's actually going on, and this is why. So next time when someone tries to do that, you can pull them up and you know that that's not right. Because I guess you outsource things to people because they're the experts and you want them to do the best job. But there's a lot of sharks out there that, you know, are happy to take your money and do a half-assed job and then blame someone else for it. Like, so I just figure, at least if you had a basic understanding of how things work, how it all operates, connects together, then you can kind of start picking things up yourself. Like, that happens across all industries, like bookkeepers.
Yeah, worse. I've had horrendous experience with bookkeepers. Horrendous, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of mistakes.
My bookkeeper's the bomb.
Mine is now. She rocks. I'm not even joking. Like, she is next level. I actually transitioned. I had a meeting about this with an interview about it, and the difference between an accountant and a bookkeeper for my business and for the way that I do things has been life-changing. Like, I don't have the bookkeeper side of it now. We just go straight with the accountants.
Yeah.
But they're accountants that actually, like, they understand financial management and everything else, and it's life-changing. Huge.
Oh, having like a good accountant is like next level.
Yeah.
Like the amount of money you can save, even how your business is structured, because a lot of people will start off as a sole trader, or they don't get advice from an accountant on how to structure their business correctly. And, you know, and then you're earning over, what is it, 90 grand. And then you start paying like 27 cents for every dollar or whatever. Like, you're getting hammered. If you actually, have your business set up correctly.
My family business learned that lesson for 2.5 years. They were turning over like 2.2 million a year in one of the businesses, and still as a sole trader.
Oh, whoa.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, everybody was having a fun time except for my parents.
Yeah, no shit. I could imagine.
Yeah, it was pretty hectic.
But it's good to, like, even that like-minded bitches group, like, there's heaps of people that, you know, go in and refer people and things like that. But just put your feel like you did. Like, you posted something to get help. There is so many awesome people out there. You just need to put the word out, and 100%. Once you have like a really cool group of people around you, that's so much fun.
I know.
It just makes things so fun.
It's cool, hey? And that is something I talk about a lot, like reaching out, not just sticking inside your group, because that's the natural thing to do when you're having like any stress, pandemic or no pandemic, whatever, just general everyday shit in your business. Try not to go too much into your inner circle, because you're not going to learn anything in that space. Like, most of them are just going to try and make you feel good anyway. You need to go out and go further afield. And do you know what I find, Shae?
Yeah.
That people you don't know are more willing to help you than the ones that know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Weird. Find it weird.
I know how, like, I think it's so insane from going back to where I started. Like, I live in a regional town. Like, I don't know really many people at all that do what I do. Oh, except for one, Josh Remington. We catch up for coffee and stuff. And I met him online.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, just all the people that you connect with, that you're now mates with, like, from all over the world. And everyone's always, like, jumping in and giving each other advice. And,
Yeah, it's cool,
like,
eh?
it's so good. Yeah,
I know.
it's insane.
I know it. And I'm glad that the rest of the world's like jumped on board now, because pre-COVID, everyone was like, oh, technology is ruining our lives. Technology is an amazing life enhancer. I wouldn't even be speaking to half of my family if it wasn't for Facebook and technology and online platforms like Zoom and everything else. So, you know, it can be abused just like anything else in the world. And I think that it does far more good than it does harm. And I want to thank you so much for sharing your goodness with us. You're amazing.
No
and I'm so
worries.
glad that I reached out of my little bubble to you. Otherwise, I would never have found you.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad you did too.
Yeah. All right, darling, I'll let you go because it's 31 minutes and I know that we've got another couple of things that we've got to prepare for as well. You are so awesome.
Yeah, sweet.
We've got lots of people saying thank you very much and all the rest of it. So I will put your links and stuff inside in the comments. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, they can. And if she can help you, I know she will, because she's a freaking wizard. She's a wizard with a technology wand. Wizard, Harry.
Thank you.
That's cool, man. Thank you so much for coming. And I hopefully, we'll do this again. I don't know how, but at some point we'll do this again. You're amazing.
Awesome.
Bye, darling.
Have a good day.
See ya. You too.
See ya.